and welcome to today's Hellraiser boxing blog. Today's Hellraiser blog, I'm going to look at a fight that I'm actually very intrigued by. When I first heard it being announced, I was like, wow, that's a big fight. In fact, for a boxing fan, it's a huge fight. Why is it not a huge fight, sort of standard? Because Errol Spence, I don't feel quite has achieved that superstar status that some fighters have done without achieving what he actually has achieved as a boxer. Okay, so Errol Spence Jr, 24-0, 21 stoppages. Boxing Mikey Garcia, 39-0 with 30 stoppages, albeit at a lower weight division. It's a very intriguing fight. And knowing Mikey Garcia, I don't know him personally, knowing him as I do as a boxer, I have to say, I don't think that he would sacrifice. Like we saw Kell Brook fight Golovkin, and it really felt like to me as if like Kell Brook was just selling out, as if like, you know, he's getting frustrated, the big fights weren't being made, and he just had enough of sort of training for no reason, and so he probably thought, in my opinion, I'd just go for a big payday, which I would get from fighting Golovkin. But the thing is, when you followed Kell Brook for all the different stages of his career, in the hope that eventually we're going to see him against the best guy in the division, you know, like unification bouts, the big fights, that's what we wanted to see, what I wanted to see. Not him go and fight a massively bigger Golovkin, who, I mean, much as I admire Kell Brook for his skill, right away I thought, you know, no matter how skillful, no matter how well he boxes on the night, he's going to get stopped. He's going to get broken down. He's going to get beat. And there's not really any tactic that he could have that's going to stop that. What we've got here, we've got Errol Spence, who's going to have significant reach and natural size and height on Mikey Garcia. But I don't think Garcia's the sort of guy who would just sell out. I mean, I think he's taken the fight for a reason. I think he must see something in Errol Spence. I mean, Errol Spence is a naturally bigger guy. He's arguably the bigger puncher, especially as he's bigger. I mean, I feel myself instinctively, certainly leaning, before I even analyse anything, in Errol Spence's favour. Look, Errol Spence, 5'9", 183 centimetre reach. Mikey Garcia, 5'6", so 3 inches shorter, 173 centimetre, 10 centimetres in reach he's giving away. So from that, I think we can take it for granted that what we're going to see here is Errol Spence, who likes to plant his feet, taking the centre of the ring, dictating the range, and also, I think, dictating the pace. Now, Mikey Garcia actually uses his jab as a weapon, not just to hurt his opponents and set them up for more concussive punches, but actually to dictate the range and the pace that fights are fought at. Now, against someone who's got so much reach as Errol Spence Jr. will have over him, I don't think he's going to be able to use that jab. He almost like darts forward behind it, and boom, and then he sets us up, and he uses it to keep his opponents working. Like I say, he dictates the pace of the fight with that jab. But here, I mean, Errol Spence could actually move backwards and jab and still beat him to it. Meaning that Garcia can't use that jab as effectively, surely, against Errol Spence Jr. And I think that's going to be a big handicap, and it's going to be a big surprise to him, or a big obstacle to overcome when he gets in there. And he finds, because Errol Spence hasn't just got that range, he's also got almost like a radar type jab that follows people around. He uses it to set up, he plants his feet, he sets it up, plants his feet, and then he throws these crushing body shots. And that's another question mark, because although Garcia's been in some tough fights and boxed some big opponents and very high standard opponents, to me, to move up in weight and also move up in standard of opponent and also move up in power, because Errol Spence is a very powerful puncher, and those big body shots, like Garcia's never going to have been hit anywhere near as hard as, I would imagine, as what those body shots are going to bring to him. I think, I mean, it says a lot about Garcia. He's obviously very confident, and I think when I look at it, I think, right, there's two guys at that weight that he can fight. There's Crawford, there's Spence Jr. For me, Crawford would be the worst move, because Crawford, as well as moving up in weight, as moving up in size and reach, you've got in Crawford a guy that moves a lot and changes angles a lot. And if you're trying to adjust to someone that's got longer reach than you, that you're not used to giving away that much reach, and on top of that you've got very, very good movement, it would be a nightmare. I think it would be too much to overcome in one go. Whereas at least with Spence, you've got a guy who plants his feet. Yes, he punches very hard as a direct consequence of the fact that he plants his feet, and that power will have an impact. But you've got a chance, because at least the guy is there to be picked off, because you know he tries to set his feet and wind up those big shots. And I would imagine that what Mikey Garcia is going to plan is, as those big shots to the body come in, he's going to try and spin off and use movement to offset the power, to not just be like a sitting target. Garcia is powerful himself, but I mean, will his power carry to 147 pounds to the welterweight limit? I think it's a huge gamble, and I think there's a fair chance that it won't carry enough to hold off a marauding, brutal. I mean, we've seen Errol Spence. He brutalises people with those body punches. You know, the damage that he causes completely knocks the wind out of people, of his opponents. And I mean, we saw him with Kell Brook, who is a very, very skillful fighter. But you know, that from the moment that those big shots started landing, it looked like it was really going to go one way. Errol Spence is a very confident guy. Again, like I say, Crawford's a mover. I think in Errol Spence, you find yourself boxing a guy who believes he can punch holes in anybody, and because of that, he might be a little bit more easy to predict for Mikey Garcia. You're going to see Errol Spence, I think, come forwards, try and break down Garcia. You're going to see Garcia also come forwards and try and slip inside those punches. The difference with Crawford would have been, I think Crawford would have boxed on the back foot for long periods and moving sideways. I think Garcia comes forward, and I think Errol Spence Jr. comes forward, and I think Garcia will also come forward. So it gives Garcia a chance to get in close and get those shots that he needs to get in himself. Obviously that involves quite a high risk factor, and he could get picked off by some. I mean, we've seen Errol Spence brutalise people with his body punching, and I mean, you've got to commend. You can't say that Garcia is a guy who's cherry picking his opponents. His brother Robert Garcia, I'd be really interested to hear what he says about this fight, because intelligent boxing brain, what are the tactics that they can use? And also, I mean, Robert Garcia is the sort of guy that surely would be able to appreciate, you know, it's all very well a boxer saying, I want to fight the best, but when a guy's been brought along and he's been matched carefully, and then he's boxed at a good level and he's won, sometimes their confidence can skyrocket to the point where maybe it gets a little way ahead of them. And if you've got a manager or a promoter or someone who's experienced these sort of situations, they can sort of try and pave the way in a certain direction. Maybe you fight this one first, then you fight that guy, or this one, and then you come across. But here he's gone straight in for possibly the hardest punching of the lot. And I mean, you can't exactly, Garcia isn't exactly dipping his toe against Spence. I mean, he's going to find out very quickly that there's a big difference between lightweight and welterweight, and between light welterweight and welterweight, super lightweight and welterweight, because the first time that he gets hit with a powerful shot from Spence, I think then we can read a lot into this fight. Is he going to be able to withstand the pressure? Is he not? But to me, I think there's a big chance here that it could be an example of a fighter getting carried away with his own confidence, his own self-confidence. It's nice to see that, but in terms of how do I think the fight ends? Well, unfortunately for Mikey Garcia, I think Errol Spence will have too much power. I think he'll dictate that centre of the ring, even though Garcia will try and take it from him. I think it'd just be too much strength to give away. And I see Errol Spence, I actually think it will go to points. I think Errol Spence will come close to stopping Garcia, but I think he won't have the skills to overwhelm Garcia on a skill level, so Garcia will be able to wriggle his way through, and I think it goes to points. Guys, if you enjoyed the blog, please hit the subscribe button. I'll see you soon.